pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our meeting. In the last week, we lost somebody that wasn't a resident of the village of Lowville, but somebody that I knew dearly and was a phenomenal coach. And that would be Kirk Benaquacho. So I just wanted to mention that quickly. He was an inspiration to the youth of the North Country.
Inspiration to me. He was a coach of mine. Good friend.
I won't hold that against him.
I know.
Okay.
Really good person.
We will now open the public hearing that we have been continuing since 10 years ago. No, seriously, a couple months ago. The short-term rentals and zoning amendments. And I'll offer the floor to anybody that would like to speak on any comments, and it will remain open through the meeting. At this point in time, we will give privilege of the floor for public comment. You have 5 minutes. Just state your name and the subject, and we'll go from there. Does anybody wish to have the floor? Go ahead.
Barry Leindecker, Lowville. I'm buying the Farmers Co-op, and it's come to my attention that a lawyer in town did an illegal subdivision, and what I'm looking for from this board is a letter stating the fact that it was never approved by the village of Lowville, that it does not conform to any of the laws of Lowville, and I just would like it to be attached to the subdivision at Lewis County so that it's known that it was not approved.
Thank you. We will be discussing that in executive session because as far as I'm concerned, that could be a legal issue. Okay, thank you. Yep. Is there anyone else that would like privilege of the floor? That being said, we will move on. The Board of Trustees has the minutes of the 4/15/26 meeting in their possession and have had it on via email. Is there any additions, deletions, or suggested corrections for the clerk? If not, I will take a motion to accept the meetings as written.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is made by Mr. Adsett.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Woodruff. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. At this time, we'll ask Mr. Troya to give us the finance, the audited, now audited vouchers. Go ahead, Mr. Troya.
We have a general fund claims of $97,753.44. Water fund, $40,917.62. The sewer fund, $28,879.95. Kind of a light month this month compared to some others, so Terry and I have got them all audited and make a motion that we pay the bills.
Motion by Mr. Trillian.
I'll second.
No questions from anybody on anything that they want to ask. I didn't see anything that I brought to light. With that, I'll take a motion to approve the vouchers. We did. You made the motion. I'm sorry. Did I get a second?
He made it. I seconded it.
Yep. Then I asked the question. Threw myself off base. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We'll now move to unfinished business. And the first thing we have is a dog contract, and I believe that the dog contract figures can be substantiated. We don't have figures because it's completely run by the town, and approximately, I'm going to have Mr. Trillian talk about that because he worked with Mr. Mullins and got that information.
Tim and I met with Bob Mullen and J.D. Ross, and we had a very good meeting. Bob explained everything out to us. We don't have the exact figures in front of us right now, but we can get them if somebody would like them. Tim and I, during the course of that meeting, thought everything that was talked about was pretty fair. And, you know, like it says on here, the percentages for dog control, just using round figures, if there's like 400 dogs licensed between the village and town, at least like 300 were village and another 100 were town. So I mean, that's where we come up with a 70-30% responsibility for payment on it. It's just plain figures, plain math. I mean, nothing was secretive about it during that meeting. It's just the figures spoke for themselves, and Tim and I come out of that meeting with a very good feeling about working with Bob and JD. Am I correct in saying that, Tim?
Yes.
And the others that you have?
The zoning planning 70-30 and the youth recreation 70-30.
Okay.
The building itself, 56 town, 44 village. The rest was all 70-30 village.
I got a question. So if it's 70-30 with Kathy, does that mean she works for us?
It's a good question.
It was a question I wanted to bring up, but
No, the thing with that, they had figures that the last, since 2022, and I didn't realize this either, that there was almost 80% every year work that she did for the village compared to the town. So we figured 70-30 was fair.
So she should be working for us if we're paying
Well, she
70%
should
of
maybe
her
say
salary.
she is. I don't
I'm
know.
just saying.
Here's I think a fair statement on that. I think that with the code office, we will work with Kathy for transparency. I think if we have a question, I personally think she works for both the town and the village, and we should be able to ask questions. And I'll discuss that with Kathy. I don't think that'll be an issue. And to the best of her ability, I hope that she keeps us informed and as any department should with anything. And I feel I have a pretty good working relationship with her, and I will have that discussion because I think it's important. Yeah, if we're paying 70%, we should have at least equal time or equal response. I think that's only fair.
How is that paid, Wendy? Do we pay them up front? A certain
We're
amount?
billed.
What's that?
They were billed the entire amount at once.
At once, that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
But she receives her paychecks from the town.
yes. She does not work for the village.
I think that's where the misunderstanding is. You know, she's saying that she,
I'm just bringing it up.
I know what you're saying.
And
Really
maybe
don't.
paying them all up front. My thought is, she doesn't get her salary all up front. I'm not saying we shouldn't pay them all up front, but should that be divided out equally amongst the 12 months? I think that could be a fair question too. Anyways, I think we can work with them on that. The building sits at 644. I had a quick discussion with Charlie this morning on that, and that's about the only thing that probably, dog contract, we don't have anything on that. If we could just maybe get a breakdown of that so that we can say, yes, we agree with that, with no dispute, or maybe it should be more. I would hope not. Maybe it should be less. That'd be nice. But I think that that's the only thing that, in fairness to everybody, I appreciate what Tim and Chuck have done in this realm. But I would like to be able to look somebody in the eye afterwards and say, we agree with that. And the people that I could share those figures, I think mostly would be Mr. Dinesh and Ms. Snowden. I don't know that the police department as such would probably have a whole lot in that, but there could be a few things because the police building, they may charge us for certain things when stuff goes over there. But I want to be able to justify fairly that 5644. And I talked to Chuck, and maybe you didn't have a chance today to talk to Bob on that.
well, I did because who was it?
We got another
Security
problem to
people?
discuss. Yes.
The security people right here. I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't on the
We've
horn on
got
that.
a security, we've
I
got some
think
problems.
the argument with Kathy was that she is not our zoning officer. And I think that's what the problem was. She's not our zoning officer. The only thing she is to us is the administrative assistant to the joint planning boards. Okay?
Mhm.
We have our codes and zoning done by the county.
Mhm.
Okay? So I think that's where the issue is here in the 70-30. It was 66, what, 34 or whatever,
65.
right?
65. yeah.
65, 35 before. So yes, they did ask for a raise on that, but they did have the documents
Backing it up.
backing it up.
And-
So
and-
there we sat, you know what I mean? And I wasn't gonna argue over
No,
$1,000 one way or the other.
I agree. And I agree that it is that. I guess what I'm saying is, I'm just hoping that forms of communication, when there's questions, that we can ask them, and I'll discuss that with Kathy. I don't see where we can't, because communication is important, and we need to deal with that. And I will have that discussion with her.
But that's been a point of contention for years, is who she actually works for and under. I mean, it's never came to a head, never came to anything,
No.
never on anything, but we've been talking about
Right.
it for a number of years now.
And today we move forward, and I will have that discussion with whomever, and because the work that we get out of that office, I think is good work. Keeps us out of trouble, and much to the dismay sometimes of people in the community, and I understand that, but our community looks pretty good, and that's because we have good codes. You go around in a lot of places in this county, and we don't have that here.
Dan, can I just ask a question on the building contract? So, if there's something in the building that we know that they're working on that's gonna be a big expense that we don't know anything about, maybe they could share that with us so we can make planning on our end to see how we're gonna come up with our 44%. I mean, the alarm system is the perfect example. We're hit with it today. We gotta have it done. You gotta pay 44%. So,
Well, and in fairness to the town, and I hear you, Wendy, and in fairness to the town, they were hit with it today. So,
They were hit with it last month, which is fine, but they didn't know the extent of it.
right,
Okay.
until today.
Okay.
So yes,
In fairness,
but the pressure washing of the building, that came, we're pressure washing the building, you're gonna pay 44%. I just talk before we're hit with how much you're gonna pay.
we'll try to have a discussion to have those things brought to us, because we need to know that. I'm assuming that that shouldn't be an issue, and we can work with Bob on that, because
I'm sure.
I know that you have to, you're the one that has to then pull the monies to make it work. I hear you. Anything else on that, Chuck or Tim? We've sat. Okay.
Well, the question
Matt?
I got,
Oh,
excuse me,
go ahead.
I just thought of this, but when we signed a contract, the planning zoning contract with Kathy, that was supposed to be good for 3 years, right? So we're midterm on that right now, basically, you know what I'm saying? So does that 70-30 start the next contract, or does it start now? Because there's wording in that contract, unless there was some negotiations, and, right, if I remember right?
Well, I think Mr. Burrows said because we didn't put it in writing, we wanted to renegotiate that contract. We were kind of stuck with it for 3 years. It automatically renewed,
Yeah,
so.
just broad brush.
Because they're asking for this.
Broad brush strokes. If you've got a contract that's in writing for a term, those are the provisions through the duration. If you wish to change that, it requires negotiation between the parties and a simple amendment. It would be a simple letter amendment that would amend, it would basically ratify the contract except for an amendment as follows.
Okay.
But that's just where you are with it. But if you're going to change, the contract in some amount, there ought to be some memorial of it, which you know what it is. I mean, all the contract is a meeting of the minds. So
I'm gonna have their attorneys draw up an IMA, so.
I
That
haven't
wouldn't come
seen
into
anything.
effect, this wouldn't come into effect till January 1st of next year, right? Because that's their budget year.
I think we're gonna have to determine that.
Why would it start now? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, town's fiscal year is January 1 through December 31st, so if you're reaching out to the town and there's talk of a change, I would presume that the town is referring to January 1 as their target date. I would think they would, but I've not seen or heard anything on it, so.
We'll get that clarified and have a meeting of the minds on that. Gaimo is here, and you're on the agenda, Matt. Can you believe that? Thanks, Wendy.
You're welcome. If you would tell me, we'd be on
And then the
there.
minute we put you on, you won't be here. The minute we don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna be here for a while. So we are working out at the well site. The contractors returned after the winter, and they haven't, it's slow progress, but they are making progress, and we should be hearing more. Hopefully they'll be able to start pulling water out of the ground this week, but it may be next week even before they start pulling water. Screens are in place. They're starting to pull the casing up, which exposes that screen in the gravel bed that's down there, and that's how these wells, these groundwater wells work. So same as the last set. So they're in the process of pulling that casing up to expose the screen, which allows the water to come into it.
This is going to position the village and the county in a good light.
Yes,
future.
absolutely. So I probably should have said that. The groundwater well project is a continuation of the work we've been doing at the water plant. When we did that project a few years ago, we drilled a couple wells, and a lot of the work we did, besides getting those wells online, was preparing the water treatment plant for more groundwater, to bring more groundwater into that plant. The older system was Young's Pond and spring fed, that was under the influence of surface water. The groundwater, of course, is not. So it's less treatment, less chemicals to treat it, and make it safe to drink. So in the long run, it saves the village money on treatment, and Paul trailers potential to go away. I mean, there's a lot of things that this adding more groundwater helps the village save money.
And one of the things that I guess I would bring up tonight that Paul and yourself and I have talked about is it's not like we're going to hurt the aquifer if we use some extra water. And my thought is, why can't we sell that, some 200,000 or 300,000 gallons a day, to a conglomerate, not bottle it, just sell it, and make it more resourceful so that the people in the community don't have to pay as much for the water. Not that our water's expensive now, but it could become even more reasonable than it already is.
I think ultimately we've got to make sure we get these next two wells in.
Right.
To see the quantity of water that we're going to get. Who knows, Kraft might do an expansion. And
yeah, and I think part of why we did this to begin with was to help Kraft with the sewer and the water, but
and they would come first. Anybody would come first, but
sure,
we need, and we could start something like that, and with the idea that any time it could sunset.
Yeah, you have a pretty special aquifer up there, and watershed that you're using now, and you're using a minor, tiny percentage of the water that's there.
We're using over 1 million gallons a day right now. This community's bringing in over $1 million gallons a day. I wish we'd bring in $1 million right now.
You know, Dan, you probably have more than that going over the dam.
Right.
At the
And you said it, not me. I wanted to.
Well, I mean, you're not. You can't. You can't.
It's like a leak we should
preserve it.
cut. It's like a leak we should catch.
Well, it's not like you haven't treated it, so it's
Right.
not money. It's not money. You're not spending money to let it go over the dam.
We're always going to treat. We're always going to make up for the treatment and the cost. So what we're going to pay to treat it and what we're going to sell it for would certainly be a profit.
But our ultimate goal is to get away from all the surface water.
Yep.
Go right to groundwater, which is going to save us buku dollars in chemicals. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Terrell, we have on the agenda policy for surplus inventory. Do you have that with you, or do you want to postpone that?
Well, I'd like to postpone it because I'd like the rest of the members to go over it and see if they have any additions to it.
If you, for some reason, don't have it or misplaced it, just let Chuck know. I've given my 2 cents, I guess, and but he wants everybody to take a look at it, which I agree. County Planning Board zoning changes.
So that was for
Pardon,
the
public hearing?
codes, the 201 section?
Okay.
Yeah. Their reports in your packet.
Okay. Oh, I know, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You mean the conditions?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've all been taken care of.
Okay.
That's all been changed.
So that can come on. Fire Department, Chief Austin is not here tonight. We have a new member, Todd Eddy. I'll take a motion that we let the Fire Department know that we're in conjunction with that approval.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Right?
Opposed? Motion carried. I did notice on the Fire Department board that we have a member that has served 69 years, Richard Bush, one of our former Citizens of the Year award, our recipients. That is absolutely amazing. Cream Cheese Festival. We had a meeting with, no, I think it's something else. The bounce houses came up as a question when they wanted to do them for the 200th year festival. And in so learning, we sponsor that, unlike Cream Cheese Festival that we give permission and we get certificates of insurance. Our insurance with NYMER will not cover bounce houses. So that led us to a question of the Cream Cheese Festival. So I went to our agent and I went to the person that runs that, and we have found that indeed the people that they rent the bounce houses from has a policy that protects the participants. We have received, I sent it to our agent for his review, and he's more than happy with it. So that's good news because we might not have had insurance in a sense with the Philadelphia policy, because the Philadelphia policy, the way I understand it, that they give us, has an exclusion for that. So, like I said, it all came to light when this came up because our agent didn't know that there was bounce houses going on at the Cream Cheese Festival. And so, it's our job as a community to protect the taxpayers. And so, you know, some people say, well, you want to not have good, and no, it's not the issue. Rather, I'm worried about goodwill or not. I'm worried about the taxpayers. Do I want to see the bounce houses there? Yes. And the bounce houses will be there. So, but
Can I get a copy of that insurance liability? I don't have that one.
Okay, you should have. I'll make sure you get one.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Intermunicipal agreement with the DRI. I left a message for Cassandra Buell. She got back to me via voicemail. I tried to reach her again today, and it didn't happen. But her voicemail basically said, now that the contracts are in place, the work and all the preliminaries will begin.
Yeah,
So,
she did send an email, because I got it also. So it basically states
I
out
don't see
what's,
the email. Okay.
yeah, what's gonna happen, the time frame, which is very general. So hopefully things can get moving.
Wendy has presented us with some budget amendments.
You have the wrong agenda. Sorry, we don't have budget money.
Oh, I'm using the one you printed earlier today, and that came on.
We didn't have any, sorry.
It's okay. Because I scribbled a lot of notes on the one I have. Municipal Board. They met earlier this month, and I'm going to let Mr. Dinez or Ms. Snowden tell us about why we want to increase the implementation of water meters.
Yeah, there's a few things with the water meters. Water meter prices have gone up. So we are proposing for a 3/4 inch water meter to go from $174.34 to $200, which basically just covers the cost. And with the 1 inch, which we only have a couple here in the village, the original price or price right now was $271. We're proposing $300 for that. The municipal board agreed with it.
Sounds very reasonable. I'll take a motion to approve both of those as recommended to us by the municipal board.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Trillian. Ms. Taylor. All in favor? Opposed? That motion's carried. Anything
Okay.
else on that, Bob?
So we do outside residential new hookups, same town of Watson area. Right now, we are charging them $1,000. Well, with the increase of copper, fuel, meters, whatnot, we proposed to the municipal board to raise that to $1,500 just for a new service. And they were all in agreement with it.
And that basically covers our costs again.
Yes, we are not making money off the meters, we're not making money off, actually, we're losing money off installation of new services, but we figured that that's a reasonable increase.
Motion for that.
Yes, I move.
Mr. Trillian. Mrs. Taylor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. We are through with that, Paul?
Yes, that's
Okay. Parking. Mr. Orleb and I have spent some time this week talking about the challenges that we face with parking. And very surprising to me that there are no parking tickets in the rears at $25. And what's surprising to me is how many people will pay those, behave for a while, and then park illegally again. So maybe, I guess, a few things I think have to happen. I've also been told that we've had an attorney come and dispute maybe or cry allegiance to whatever for parking tickets, which my feeling is if you've parked for 2 hours, our rules in this village are first come, first served basis based on the rules of the village. I've said that time and time again. That being said, we have some people that want to flaunt that at us. I've had a person come to me and scream in my face about it, and I basically told them that I didn't see special written on their forehead, and that they said, well, the minute I parked illegally, they were going to make sure that somebody was informed. And my remark was, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and pay the ticket because everybody's the same. So that being said, I would like to have us explore moving our parking fee from $25 for a violation to $50. Another thing that Mr. Ortleb and I have talked about is if you park there for 2 hours and he issues a ticket and the car's there for another 2 hours, you'll see another one. We have people that are not able-bodied that have to park further away from a business or a courthouse or what have you because able-bodied people seem to think that they should be able to park there all day. We have people that seem to think that they should be able to park in our parking lot down street all day. That has to change. And if we have to, I've discussed this with both Mr. Ortleb and Mr. Burrows, we may even put in a rule where if somebody thinks that they're going to do this all the time and they want to make light of it, we might tow your vehicle. Because we need to be fair to everybody in this community. And Daryl wrote quite a few tickets this week. Daryl, I've probably said more than I should have, but go ahead.
Our tickets just need more teeth. I would feel like they're kind of a joke right now. I'll get one every couple of weeks. I'll pay the $25 and I'm going to keep parking here anyway.
I can't imagine people want to even pay that, but I guess that's not right.
If it went on your license, you'd see a big change.
I think you'll see a change if we move it to 50.
Yeah.
And a bigger change if we tow somebody's car once. Because it doesn't matter if an attorney walks in here and argues with a judge because the car's already been towed.
That would be in an extreme case. I really don't want to get in the habit of towing cars.
No. But there's a couple people that it would be warranted.
So you said that there's no outstanding parking tickets paid in the village, to the town court. There is some, but they're just not habitual ones.
Okay.
There's a straggler here, one here, one here.
The people that get them time and time
regulars
again.
that have 5 or 6 parking tickets stacked up, so there's one.
Gotcha. Time and time again, people are the ones.
Right, yeah,
that
no,
pay them.
they're paying them. I feel it's $25, and if we get them once a week, that's my contribution.
Well, the ones out by my
to
office
business.
must be where they're working. They're getting paid too much. They can do that.
It's every street. It's every parking lot in every street. So
Yeah,
the mayor and I talked about taking the proceeds from parking tickets, putting that into an enforcement fund to have an extra officer
Yes.
to do small blocks, 4-hour blocks or whatever, to do just parking enforcement. We used to do that, and I'm not sure what happened to that, but
we're not out, we don't want to issue any parking tickets, that's not our goal.
No.
But the revenue would cover that, and we're not going to ticket somebody for being parked right on the lot for 2 hours.
no, we never do that.
But we're going to ticket them, because there's times, the Lions parking lot the other morning, when Darryl and I discussed it, 9 o'clock, there wasn't a space left for anybody else.
That's most of the day. That's a hard lot to get into. That's 2 hours. So we wrote 5 out of there yesterday.
So
I think some of them are, not all of them though.
please help us. That's all we can ask. And
Parking in the villages, everybody knows, it's horrible.
and my remark is, as horrible as it is, they're lucky that they're not in a bigger community or a city where you can't even park.
They're paying to park.
I've said it, yeah, we're paying to park. And I've said it again, well, we can solve this if we could put a parking space next to everybody's desk. Because sometimes I think that's what people think should happen.
Did you want to bring?
Also, the school. By the way, I met this morning with Superintendent Dunkel on the George Davis grant and told her tonight that Boston Street would be brought up along the street, because a few of us definitely think it's a safety hazard. And I don't think I'm putting words in her mouth when I say that she totally agreed. And she said that she tries to make sure that people within the community understand that, which is probably not an issue, but when we have visiting schools coming in, that's where the issue arises. And she said, yes, that's, never thought of that. Last night, they had senior night for the track team. My granddaughter was a senior, and they had a baseball game going on, and there was not a person parked on the street. They were either parked here or parked in the parking spaces that they have. And in discussing that with her, I said, now that the school year is over, there'll be a few months that can be worked on, is to try to figure out, what we're going to do for excess parking. So, but that certainly is a school issue, not ours. But she's in agreement, so I told her that I would like to see us as a board. She said, well, just ticket them. And I said, we can't ticket them without a law in place and parking signs up. So I would like to explore that and get that going and have a public hearing to create no parking.
From the corner of Boswick and 812, all the way down here to East State Street on the right-hand side.
All the way to East State Street.
Okay.
That's pretty much, you're talking, I was thinking State Street, I'm sorry. Yes, okay.
All the way down
On
to
just that
this
side
way.
of the road?
Just that side of the road. You can't actually park on the left-hand side. There's no place to pull up.
Yes, I would.
They would. I think probably it should be both sides.
They have it.
Do you agree, Paul, based on what Joe just said? Somebody will do it. They'll see the sign one way and,
Well, if we're gonna do it, we might as well do both sides.
yep. Motion to
Both sides? now?
Both sides.
All right.
have Mr. Burrows bring that to our attention next meeting, and then maybe for the July meeting, we will have a public hearing to create that law. And the school will have time to figure out before the fall sports season. So, and I appreciate the school's cooperation on that from the superintendent's standpoint. Mr. Dietrich.
Yep. So next regular board meeting is going to be on May 28th. It'll be at Castellan Fire Hall. We'll be going over the plan. We actually mapped out this morning on that. Did a kind of a final draft ready for the board. They are coming to speak to the Raycog board about their experience at the local government conference And she also said that the rest of her student council wants to come too. So they're coming, and even the student council said they'd be interested in helping to offset the costs for students to go next year to the conference. So, so they're going to be there too, and she'll be giving a little presentation to the board related to that. And then related to student activity, and then I just changed where I went, but had to nail down busing for tomorrow. But tomorrow's our field trip day for the students. So we have 7 of the 11 students are going to be attending the field trip tomorrow. So we'll be coming here to the town level board meeting in the morning. And then from there, we're going down the county highway, and then the county highway over to Soils and Water. And after Soils and Water, we're doing lunch at Jeb's, and then we're going to the county courthouse where St. Louis is going to give a tour of all of the departments to the students there, and then we'll head back to those.
Okay.
So we have going on tomorrow. And other than that, we will be changing our report format based upon the strategic plan stuff. So we're going to add sections in there for communities to put what projects they're working on, issues they have, or needs they have. So all the other municipalities within the RACOG can see that and might be able to either piggyback on projects, or they might have a piece of equipment, if somebody's looking for a certain piece of equipment as a need, maybe they would have that to share. So we're working on that. And other than that, just pretty much it, other than the Black River Watershed Conference coming up here in June. I think it's June 3rd. Is the Black River Watershed Conference. So
That meeting's the 28th.
yes, the RACOG meeting is 28th, 6 o'clock, Castro Line Fire Hall.
Be there for the first half hour because I have a second meeting I have to go to, but I said I'm going to attend and I'm going to be there.
Okay. All right.
Are you set, Mr.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Lewis County Wi-Fi project, the correspondence, I took the correspondence and not the
okay.
so we've got you down there.
We're all set.
The Wi-Fi project was supposed to sunset in April, and now sunsets in September. Now with the Paul, with the meters, are we going to need some kind of a Wi-Fi if that EV thing goes through?
Well, the EV thing, the grant from National Grid is expired. I believe there was $20,000 or $50,000 for that grant. It's all been used up. So right now we're kind of in limbo. Grace Metzler from the county is still looking at other grants to move forward with it. So as of right now, we're with the EV stations, we're just kind of in limbo.
But the ones they were proposing had their own Wi-Fi right on them.
Yes. They
We wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
It's not holding
she's
it
trying
down.
to find other sources of grant money for EV stations.
With that, the other question, Tim, that I would have is, who's going to maintain them and who's going to pay
It's a
for them?
service contract. You go with the company that installs them. I think they have a sub-company that does all the service.
But we'd have to pay for
You'd
that.
have to pay the service contract.
But out of that, we would get the revenue.
right.
Correct.
So hopefully,
Hopefully you could break even. But hopefully it'll happen, and it's just, trying to find the grant money.
Hockey Association has given us their year-end reports and your thing. We've got the North Country Homeless Consortium, and the final, there was one project, Lewis County Planning came through with conditions.
Dan, can I tell you back to number D or letter D?
Yeah.
If you chose not to make any changes, we don't have to make any changes to the agreement because apparently we're in it. But if you wanted to make a change, they would like you to make that decision in tonight's meeting.
Okay. Before we close out, we'll go back to that.
Okay.
Because I want people to review if they think there should be some changes. Public hearing that we opened, I'd like to go back to that right now and find out just any comments. If not, I will take a motion to accept that.
Got to close it.
I'm going to close the public hearing first. Thank you. Motion to close the public hearing.
Also move.
Mr. Adsap,
I'll second.
Mr. Woodrick, all in favor? Right? Carried. Motion to accept the the new proposal for the zoning as presented.
Well, if you wish to adopt the zoning, the next is that Darnell seeker.
Yes.
Gotta go through that, and I know that Tim.
I did the part one.
You did the part one. The part two I prepared back February. You've worked, as a board, you've worked very hard on this, I know. But I've got the part two and I've got the proposed part three. They're recommended because technically you are the agency that goes through the process. But with it, in a nutshell, real quick, what you are doing is looking to update and amend your zoning. Looking to change legislation only. It is not putting a shovel in the ground. And so, as a practical matter, there's a 10-page form that part two of the seeker, and that's really what it reflects, is that it is adopting the legislation only, and as long as that is what you're doing, then that would open the door to go to the next step, which is part three. Part three is where you make a determination of significance on whether adopting legislation only might have an adverse environmental impact. What I had recommended was essentially the Village of Lowville intends to enact a local law to amend their zoning related to short-term rentals and renewable energy uses consistent with the wants and needs of the public. No impact on the environment is expected by the adoption of legislation. That's what I've recommended. If the town board, if the village board agrees with that, then what I would ask you to do is to consider adopting a proposed resolution for seeker. I think I sent that before. Do you want?
Yeah, I made a copy.
You've got a copy? Do you want to read the resolution to the board so they can decide?
No, you have.
I'll read the resolution.
Beautiful.
So if you think of it, see,
You're learning, Wendy.
the environmental review, before you can do that substantive step about updating your zoning, you got to take this hard environmental look. What I have for a proposed resolution, it's up to you whether you want to adopt it or not, of course. Whereas the Village Board of the Village of Lowville, New York has considered the adoption of legislation in the Village of Lowville in connection with amending its zoning laws to address short-term rentals and renewable energy costs. And whereas the Village Board of the Village of Lowville has reviewed an environmental assessment form for the purpose of assisting the Village Board in making a determination of significance in respect to the legislation of whether the enactment of legislation would have a significant adverse impact on the environment. And whereas the Village Board has reviewed the criteria for determining significance of an action that is set forth at, specified in the 3-year regs, whereas having considered the action consisting of the adoption of legislation only and potential environmental impacts associated with that action, the Village Board is determined to proceed. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village Board of the Village of Lowville finds that the proposed action of adopting legislation is subject to seeker, and be it further resolved that the action constitutes a Type 1 action under seeker with the regs. Type 1 because it's village-wide. It encompasses the entire village. Be it further resolved that the Village Board is the agency with jurisdiction by law to fund, approve, or directly undertake that action. Be it further resolved by the Village Board of the Village of Lowville, New York. Number 1, based upon the examination and consideration of the long environmental assessment form and comparison of the proposed action and criteria set forth at the regs, no significant impact on the environment is known by the adoption of the proposed legislation. Number 2, the mayor for the Village of Lowville is authorized to execute the long environmental assessment form to the effect that the Village Board is issuing a negative declaration under seeker. That's page 2 of the part 3 of the seeker form, and that's Wendy's got a copy of that as well. Number 3, a complete copy of the EAF, including its negative declaration, shall be maintained in the village clerk's office in a file that will be readily accessible to the public and shall be published in the Environmental News Bulletin. All subsequent notices regarding the undertaking of the action set forth in this resolution shall state that a negative declaration has been issued. Number 4, the resolution shall take effect immediately. And all this just because you want to change your zoning in the village. If you're interested, at this point, somebody would make the motion, second, so forth.
Roll call vote.
It would be a roll call vote if the motion is made.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Anselm will second. Mr. Wiggers, all in favor? Aye.
Roll
gotta
call.
Roll call vote, Ms. Taylor. Mr. Ansett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mr. Troy.
Yes.
Mr. Whitman.
Yes.
Motion
Okay. That's it, environmental use bulletin, I can help you with that.
Oh,
Okay, that's good. So what you've got then is seeker's closed up.
Now we can do this.
You close your public hearing, you've already worked on it a long time, you get the county input, that's resulted in slight changes. You've wrapped up your seeker, now you can actually consider, do you want, as a village board, to update your zoning for the short-term rentals and the energy question. And with that, I had prepared the resolution for that, and my apologies, Trustee Taylor, because when I prepared it was in February, and you weren't yet elected, so I apologize for that, but that would be updated to reflect your spot. But the next level would be to consider adopting the resolution. I can read that too, if you want, but all it is you're going forward with the legislation.
Motion to accept the new zoning that we have proposed.
So moved.
Mr. Wiggins.
I'll second
Mr.
it.
Ansett. All in favor?
And then roll
Roll
call.
call vote again. Ms. Taylor.
Yes.
Mr. Ansett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mr. Troy.
Yes.
Mr. Wiggins.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Okay, so the next thing is it's a local law. So Wendy, one of the many things that you have to do as a village clerk is you've got to file with our thing with the Department of State. So as long as you file, and I looked at it, I think it's 70-something pages long.
Lots.
So it's, yeah, I know you work a lot on it, but the intent is to make sure that you've got the most updated document. So if you would, I think you've got the local law form already prepared.
Yeah.
Yep, I've got that.
Yeah.
Yep. So just file it with the state within 10 days,
Yeah.
and it becomes effective the date that it's filed.
And you'll help me with that EA?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Dinesh has asked to speak some more on the Wi-Fi.
Yes, so I thought you were actually talking about the EV grant. So what, the Wi-Fi is, Lauren table, in your packet, you'll get it. So that is for the Wi-Fi downtown, which the county got the grant for.
That's what I was talking about.
Yes, so I apologize. So we're looking at roughly $2,203.27 a month to continue with the Wi-Fi that's downtown. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jim or Mr. Burrows said that we could not, correct? Because it would be
I'm sorry,
the Wi-Fi.
What are you looking to
The
do?
Wi-Fi downtown, didn't you say if the
Yeah.
village actually paid for it, it would be a gift?
Oh, yeah, that's a month or so ago, we talked about that. So, one of the many things, your hands are tied by the state constitution, good, bad, or otherwise. And Article 8, Section 1 of the state constitution prohibits a municipality providing a gift of public money for a private purpose. Wi-Fi is wonderful, but unfortunately, you can't just make it available. You're prohibited from doing
But the
that.
good news is, and now it's been extended till September, so it'll sunset in September. And maybe it'll get extended again, but we have it till then now.
But I believe with Lauren's letter, she wanted to know if you wanted to continue on with Wi-Fi. At a cost of $2,200 a year.
I'm telling her no, right?
We
We already told her no once, and we're gonna tell her no again, I guess.
Yeah, we just have to, you have to reply to this because she
We
sent
will.
that out.
Wendy, just send her a footnote saying the board discussed it, and we're,
Termination.
we can't, it's a legal gift.
Yeah, it sounds like the board supports it, but they
I think
unfortunately, they don't have the authority to do so.
Right.
It's just
But I don't
part
think
of
we
the
talked
street.
about it before, the price of that.
At this time, we'll move on to officers and county reports. And Mr. Burrows, you are first up.
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I have several issues, most I've ever had. The first thing is contracts for both the DPW and the police department. We received a text from CSEA union representative Brenda Harwood saying that she wants to meet with her team, and that's fine. We've asked her what the team is. She hasn't
Yeah, she
responded.
did. She
Okay. She has responded with what her team is, and I don't think we need to discuss that at this point. But my remark is, Tim and Chuck have worked on this very, very hard. So the contract runs out June 1st, so they'll have to work with the old contract until at least June 20th, when we have our next meeting. I believe tomorrow morning they're meeting with Mr. Arthur, and the same, because today's our meeting, we will entertain whatever progress up into a new contract on the 20th of June. So I don't know at this point if Tim and Chuck want to bring up anything. We can discuss certain issues about the contract in executive session, which I think I'll ask for them to fill us in on. Cream Cheese Festival. I received a letter from Jeremiah that is not on the agenda ahead of time. Did I give you a copy of it? I just got it.
It's in that.
Was it not, but it wasn't on correspondence, was it?
Well, it was under cream cheese.
It was under cream cheese.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to tell you is I did receive a letter, and I responded to Jeremiah, thanking him for getting back to us as soon as he did. But I remarked that I didn't want to make a motion on what we were going to do tonight, because the Traffic Coalition meeting is about, I think, June 8th. June 11th, thank you. And I'm sure from there on June 20th, we can bless his letter. And his remark back to me was he totally agreed with that. So that's where we're at with that. The DRI I've talked about. Music in the Park is a go. I'm still working with Mr. Trainer. He's had a family issue to get the amounts, because one band we're going to have to cut 2 checks because of the $600 deal. Actually, while the other conglomeration takes the $10.99.
Yeah, I need amounts for all of them.
And that's what I'm working on.
Yep.
The George Davis, we met this morning, and there was $20,000 that's going to be allotted. It has to be approved by the North Foundation, and so we were there for about half an hour this morning. It went rapidly, quick, and you'll see more on that in the near future. We will also discuss the county easement. Right now, the county has asked us to, we're talking about the railroad easement. The county has asked us to give them our proposal, that at this time they do not intend to charge us, but would be on the table in the future. And I think that's fair wording, because obviously they want us to come back and say something. Mr. Burrows and I have talked about that, and I'm going to have him elaborate on what we've talked about as far as having a contract in place for, in lieu of actually having to pay a fee.
Maybe that would be something we could cover in executive session,
Okay?
just to get advice from an attorney on a legal issue.
Okay. Sounds good. We've discussed, I will say we've discussed the option, and I think that the board will hopefully agree with it. Believe it or not, that is it. Clerk Treasurer.
Reports in your packet.
Mr. Dinas. Or, excuse me, Mr. Ortland.
I'm good.
Your reports in your
Yeah, my report's in the back.
Mr. Dinas.
Well, with the easement, I just wanted to clarify that. That easement is for water and sewer lines that go underneath the railroad. I have, I believe last month I said the 18th was going to be the last day for spring cleanup. I didn't realize it was a Monday. So the last day is May 22nd for spring cleanup. Unless there's a storm, heavy winds or stuff, we are not picking up brush and dirt unless we get downtime. So if you put your stuff out there, don't expect it to be picked up within a day or two. The DPW
24/7.
Right. So DPW crew's been busy trying to get everything going for the spring. We've had all seasons in. They've done some of our landscaping. We do have More flowering pots coming. I've got 2 for the bandstand. And I've got some new trees coming for some of the areas that we took the trees out from downtown. So basically it'll look a pot, a tree, a pot, a tree. Took us.
Oh boy, I just spoke this morning. I told the superintendent there weren't going to be any trees going up. I have to tell him there is.
Sure, it's been a process. All season, Ted Bach's been looking pretty much for a year to find a tree that's going to fit downtown, that's not going to expand out so it's people are hitting it when they're walking by.
I told her snow removal was an issue.
Snow removal is, but he's got a good tree. It's I can't remember,
Great.
some type of little maple that grows up to be roughly 8 foot high. The trunk is extremely small. It's supposed to be very durable for salt, calcium chloride, whatever the state puts on the road. So we're going to try to make downtown look nice again. That's it.
Can I
Well-
a couple more seconds? I'm sorry. I didn't know if you wanted to bring up what happened in my office.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. So, and I witnessed this. We had a customer come to the window and used extreme vulgarity. Had it continued, I would have called for the police chief. Don't shoot the messenger when you come here. Wendy is not this sounding board for people that are upset with a water bill or a tax bill. If it's a tax issue, there's a grieving process. If it's a water issue, they can make an appointment to go to the municipal board to be discussed. Our meters do not run on what he said, a fast track. If anything, if there's something wrong with the meter, it will run slower.
It would stop.
And I know Paul, I think, has visited with this individual.
Somewhat.
And so, I mean, it was absolutely wrong, and I didn't get a chance. He was gone before I got a chance to get up and say something to him because it was absolutely uncalled for. It was vulgar, and if that happens again with that person, I will ask for a restraining order, or any other person that wants to do that. They're here to do their job and not be sworn at because somebody doesn't like their tax bill or their water.
Dan, and that has happened in the past. He's not the only one. And
Not acceptable.
Like I've told Wendy, if you have a problem with your water bill, we are more than willing to go back out, check your meter, check. If you have a problem, come see me, and we'll go out and we'll make 100% sure that it's not the water.
I was very willing to send the guys
Exactly.
out. He didn't
Yes.
want to hear it, so.
I mean, that's what we're here for.
Thank you for
Also, I just wanted to bring up that I wanted to clear my office doing summer hours for 6 weeks. The second week of July, the third week of July through the end of August. Monday through Thursday, 7:45 to 4:15, and Fridays 8 to 11. Just wanted to see
Close the office from noon on.
from noon on Fridays, 11 on.
And we don't have any situation where the last day of the month would incur a penalty if something happened because taxes are in June.
And it would only be Friday. We have the drop box. They do still have the ability to use the mail. Postmark, we accept.
I will make the motion for the summer hours as you presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Right?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
That'll be posted on the website.
On the website, I'll have Nick run something.
Now, on the last, if Friday falls on the last day of the month in July, make sure people know, because again, if they don't pay their taxes in July, there's a penalty if they come in August.
Yeah, the tax bill specifically spells out.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is if they expect the office to be open on, I don't know if Friday
But if
falls.
it's in our drop box, it still counts as us received.
Right.
Yeah.
And the last Friday in July is the 31st. So.
Well, if they put it in their drop box,
Yeah.
we'll still accept it without penalty.
And maybe, does our website actually reflect that?
It will.
Okay.
It will.
Good.
Yeah.
Anything on the planning board and ZBA?
Next week?
No, sorry.
Municipal board?
Well, we went to the meeting, and that's when I was brought up, walking meetings and stuff, that's a good meeting. Short.
Town?
Well,
County?
I did attend a meeting, nothing really to do with the village.
Recreation, I will tell you that this morning I gave the superintendent a copy of the double play contract and what I thought maybe should come out of that contract. Obviously, we're set double play, Lowville Academy, and then in the footage after that, the school. And that we, instead of paying 3 installments, if the contract's here, we would pay the full $28,000 sometime between June 15th and June 30th. And I didn't get a chance to talk to Mr. Mullen, but they need to develop. I would say they want to do the same thing and use a double play contract, which if they don't have a copy of, I'm sure they do. They can do so also. We went with Raycog, so we're all set there. At this point, unless anything we haven't discussed needs to be brought up, I will accept a motion to adjourn and go into executive session.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session.
I'll second.
Discuss, getting advice concerning the legal matter.
Hey, maybe.